A very good evening to one and all present here. On behalf of the Entrepreneurship Development Cell of St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, I would like to thank each one of you for being a part of today's audience. I hope that all of you will learn something and benefit from this session. I would like to extend a warm welcome to Mr. Tarun Katial, the former CEO of the popular streaming service and founder and CEO, eWorld, which launched Koto, Come Together, a Web3-based social crypto community platform for women. He has had an affluent history of working in this sector and bringing forth revolutionary strategies for the betterment of it. We are extremely thrilled and honored to have you join us, sir. At the same time, we are grateful to you for taking out time for a session with us from your busy schedule. On behalf of everyone at EDC, I wish all attendees of the session an enriching experience as they hear Mr. Katial share his intriguing insights on startups' growth and the future in innovation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you for actually spending time listening to what the views around the table are on gender equality, around entrepreneurship, around Web3. I'm pleased to have my colleague Anya join me, and we're going to have a little bit of a chat around, what got us building Koto, what are we thinking about the future, and where does all this go from here. So Anuya, over to you.
Amazing. Hi everyone. It feels so great for me. I feel like I'm going back to college. It's so nice to see so many young people, all of you young folks who are the future. And so many women here as well. So welcome. And of course, a pleasure for me to actually ask questions to Tarun, who is my mentor, who I have worked with since 2015, from Big FM to Z5 to now Koto. And I can say with my eyes closed, this has been one of the most exciting journeys for me. So yeah. Taking this ahead, Tarun, welcome to the session. And my first question is, what inspired you to start your journey as an entrepreneur and founder? And how did your previous experiences help you in this endeavor?
So, you learn something new every day. And by 2020, I'd been doing CXO roles for about 2 decades, which was fairly long, right? Right from start, Sony, Big FM, and Z5. And I'd done a lot of 0 to 1 to 100 kind of roles, which kind of gives me the kick, the adrenaline, the purpose of, building something new, something that can impact lives, that can make lives easier, that can, give a lot of people a new opportunity to do different things. And, when it came to the pandemic, what we saw with the internet is that it became an integral need, not a luxury for every single individual in the world, right? And the only way you could connect with whether it was commerce, whether it was learning, whether it was people, was the internet. That really made me realize that, there was more to be done in this space where gender divide was concerned. And, there was no better place but to start something of my own around a subject that I was so passionate about, which was bridging the gender divide, bridging the gap that had come about in the world, right? And when we look at the internet, unfortunately, while digital revolution had progressed, the internet in itself had gone backward for women as a whole, right? And their ability to be able to have a voice on the internet, their ability to be able to have real, relevant, pertinent conversations, it's their ability to be able to monetize their efforts as creators was not finding the right kind of platform. And that led me to believe that, entrepreneurship, building Koto, building a platform that gave women their own safe space, their own monetization opportunity, that gave creators an equal amount in the gender pay gap that had come around in social media. All of that, needed to be fixed. And I thought that what better way than coming together with like-minded folks like you and many others, Anuya, and building something out which was fairly needed in the world. Yeah.
Right. No, absolutely. And I think, as we speak to so many women, so many creators every single day, there are so many pain points out there that, other social platforms have not been able to solve for them. So from a perspective of Koto as a platform, and the purpose, would you like to tell the room a bit more about, what was one of the main reasons why you set this up, and, where are you today with the journey of our product?
Right. So, at the end of 20, something happened in my personal life. My wife actually got trolled on WhatsApp. All right. Somebody got a number and then they started sending a revenge porn. It was kind of very disturbing for all of us. And then, we spoke about it and we said maybe we should go to the cops. And what happened was that, she being from a family of cops was still very hesitant about going and reporting this because to her mind, right, for most cops, this was, or for the most, police force, this was not their biggest issue or their biggest challenge, and they were dealing with too much and too much more. And so she said that the only way, that we had to do this was that she would just stay silent, block these people, and move forward, right? Now, I then realized that, the voice of women was getting drowned. And when I started to do research, we realized that, and there is a big documentary done by BBC Panorama, you should have a look at that, right? Which spoke about how women from across the world had faced online abuse. 1 in 3 face online abuse on an ongoing basis. And that was really, really disheartening. So the internet that had moved, miles, according to all of us, had actually gone really back. And that made me believe that, Koto needed to be built and needed to be made into a reality. And then when we started to research, we found so many creator pain points that were so apparent, but had not been addressed by most people because, people tend to do most easy things in the world. And creators were going through content exhaustion. They were going through very little around monetization. There was very little hand-holding happening around creators and the kind of work they were doing. So, let me articulate many points, but some of the few which we saw were content saturation, the issue with algorithms, the issue with monetization, the issues with burnout and copyright problems, right? And we said that while as we create the safe space for women, it was also important to be able to address, the creators issue, because they were a big constituent to what made the supply side of platforms work, right? And so what we started to do was we looked at how we're building this product as a community product rather than a social media platform, which was many to many rather than one to many. What that allowed us to do was that it allowed us to get a lot of people who had shared issues, shared topics, shared beliefs, come into communities and then be able to contribute around the same subject. So if you were, suffering from mental health issues, then you had a community for mental health. While if you were looking for just baby jokes, then you even had a community for something like that. Or if you were looking for more serious issues like, harassment at work or menstrual health or, fertility issues, or on the other side, beauty, exercise, pigmentation, various PCOS, various other issues, you had common communities to share these issues with, right? And that led us to believe that that social community was the need of the hour rather than just pure social media.
Right. And I think it'll be really interesting, to address the room and tell them what is the difference between a social media platform and a social community platform, right? Because especially, I'm guessing all the kids here except you and me, Tarun, have grown up, with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and Facebook almost becoming, with all due respect, I don't know, like not relevant or redundant. So I think it's very important for for them to understand really the importance and the relevance and the longevity of community building.
So you tell me, Anuya, you've now worked with so many creators in helping them build their social communities, right?
Yeah.
What do you think is the one big difference between building their social media profiles and their social communities?
I think the biggest the biggest advantage is being able to communicate and say what they feel, what they do, without the fear of being judged or trolled, and also relatability, because you're in a safe space of women who probably are going through or have gone through the same issues as you, and that makes you want to share more and learn more. So I think one of the biggest differences, it's not shallow, is what I would say.
The
Yeah,
sense of
very
community is a
real.
big deal. It's a
Yeah.
support system, right? It's a support system that we've had for years in the real world, but unfortunately, as we move digital, and now it's available in the digital world, and there are people that you may not know, but are going through the same kind of experiences, the same kind of challenges, the same kind of issues, and they're happy to come together and help each other around those topics, right? And I think that is the bond of having a common theme and a common issue and being able to help each other around that is incredible, which is where I think community scores far over than social media. And we've all had family WhatsApp groups which are microcosms of social community, right? Where we look on each other's health, we look after each other's celebrations, and we are really rejoiced about anything that we can find around the family or a set of friends. And here now you have a larger set of people who you congregate with, and you then share ideology, share themes, share topics, and share concerns with. And so that's why social community is that much more enriching than classic social media.
Right. And, it's interesting, for me to pivot to the next question, since we're talking about community building, right? And we're also talking about Web3, and how, while community building is an age-old concept, with the advent of Web3, community building became that much more important when it came to talking about, whether it was in the crypto space, whether it was in the NFT space, whether, it was the birth of a platform like Discord. I think it's very important to touch upon how our country will see in the next 5-10 years, blockchain and Web3 develop. What are some of, I mean, you work with founders, across the Web3 ecosystem. What are some of the learnings that you have, got, and how is it that you are applying them to building Koto as a platform that is based on Web3 principles of trust and transparency and decentralization and participative ownership, more than anything else?
So what has blockchain done? Blockchain is allowed for easy proof of work, proof of stake. It's allowed for easy tokenization. And so what it really has done is that it's brought technology that can take the co-op movement to scale, right? The co-op movement, and the classic example of the co-op movement is Amul, right? The co-op movement worked really, really well, especially in the milk sector, in the dairy sector in India. There is Mother Dairy, there is Nandini, there is Sumul, there is Amul, there is one like that in every state of the country, right? And these co-op movements were built around equal or participative ownership by a certain community of either milk traders or the milk federation, or they were built around different kinds of themes. But the co-op movement was a strong movement of shared value, of building a stream of revenue for each other by coming together. And this is exactly what blockchain is allowing to do through tokenization. all constituents, all stakeholders in any business or any protocol or any project can share the profits, but not only that, but have a proof of work and proof of stake, and are allowed in a decentralized manner to control the future of what they're doing together, right? And
Right.
so DAOs, which are decentralized autonomous organizations that are built on the back of your token ownership through the blockchain, right? And minting of tokens on the blockchain on the basis of the effort that you take, is all of this has led to participative ownership, has led to a new age of social media stroke other businesses which are both in the real world as well as in the digital world, where all stakeholders are rewarded in accordance with the effort they take. And so ownership also is built around the same theme.
Very interesting. And for all the women here, at some point I'm going to share the link of of our platform to download it either on your Android phones or your Apple phones. And the reason why I'm saying it is that when Tarun spoke about participative ownership, right, that's another thing that you all need to understand, and I'm sure he will explain it much better. But imagine you clicking the link that I send and joining the platform, and both of us earning for being able to build the platform together. And that is literally how our loyalty and referral program is built. And I really want Tarun to talk about, the importance of participative ownership, to talk about the fact that we have all been, responsible for building platforms like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and YouTube and even WhatsApp for that matter, but we didn't really get anything in return for doing that. It will be very interesting for you all to know how we have built Koto, how we built the participative ownership and loyalty program for the platform, and how women from all parts of the country, our country as well as the world, are very, very excited of building their communities of credible women on the platform. Yeah, Tarun, over to you.
So, participative ownership is really the key to how we're building Koto. And how has WhatsApp built? There are 500 million WhatsApp users in India, right? Or how has Instagram built, or how Twitter has built, is that the network effect gets built by early users who come out of the platform, who share, the platform information or the platform link, and all of us shared WhatsApp text saying, hey, join me on WhatsApp, or people do join me on Instagram, or tweet or retweet my post on Twitter. And so the early adopters are actually the ones who end up creating the network effect on each of these platforms. Now, for all the effort that they take in building an entire flywheel and getting many more users onto the platform, they hardly ever get rewarded, right? And so that's the one big difference we want to make, that for creators who refer more people onto the platform, who create content and deploy on the platform, who engage with content and create a certain amount of engagement on the platform, who connect with other people and build bonds, who come and join communities on the platform and create a certain amount of action within the communities, they should be rewarded for all that, right? Because that's really what makes the platform successful. And so the way our participative ownership, our token program, our utility token program is built is that you're able to earn tokens for all of these efforts you take on the platform. And then you have the ability to be able to use these tokens to buy platform utilities, to be able to convert it and liquidate it into in a crypto exchange, or to be able to use it for different discounts, etc. on the platform. So every effort of yours is rewarded, and then you have the ability to be able to monetize that in some form or fashion. So that's really the big difference and the key. And then once you establish your community on the platform, it is your community, and you have the ability or the option to monetize that in real money through any or every feature and functionality for monetization that we're creating. Whether you want to do product commerce, whether you want to sell services on the platform, whether you want to do live commerce, whether you're wanting to do premium content subscriptions, whether you want to make your community paid, you have a variety of options on monetizing your community. So one, when you create your community, you get tokens and you're able to find financial merit in that. And then once your community is of size and scale, you have all monetization opportunities available to you on the platform.
Fantastic. And I think, I personally, I believe that this is a game changer for, especially not only for creators, but also for all the women here on this session, including me. A chance to build, even if I have 1,000 members in my community and they've joined, the platform with my link, it means that both, my friends and I earn, which is quite amazing.
The other thing we are trying to add very soon is that if you were to recommend another friend who's going to build a community of 100 people, you get a referral tokens for all the 100, not just for her.
Nice.
So it's multi-level.
Right. No, and truly, I think that is the essence of participative ownership, right? And as we speak to creators and women every day, they've realized the importance of this and how they probably missed out, doing this with the other platforms, or maybe the other platforms will never be able to, build a program like this. And I do want to talk to you a little bit more about this, but for all the students here, I think one very important question, and this is something that we learn from you every day as well, Tarun, as someone who has built businesses, scaled businesses, as a founder, as a CEO, what are the key leadership skills that you believe, are necessary, especially to navigate, the current rapidly changing landscape, especially when it comes to technology, and even with your legacy of working in the advertising business, to going to to launching legacy TV shows and leading key networks, global networks, to launching a radio station, to coming to Z5 and now doing this. I think it's incredible, for everyone here and me to really hear from you on how is it that you did it, and what are the key challenges and opportunities that one should see, especially all the young folks here.
I think one of the things whether it's a problem or whether it's an opportunity or whether it's whatever, is that I'm always searching for the new, right? So within what I do, I'm looking for the next opportunity of doing something innovative and outside of what I've already done and kind of reached a certain level of success, right? So that's one. Second, I think consistency in execution, right? And urgency in execution, both are very, very key, right? So like we do, regular stand-ups and staying behind programs to be able to see success out of them are critical. And you learn from data, you learn from your mistakes, you learn from consumer feedback on an ongoing basis. It's very, very important to keep your ear on the ground, don't become an ostrich, to be able to see what people are telling you and then act on that. So that's the other thing. The third thing for me, and it's really, been ingrained into my life, is that everything is transient, right? So you've got to start believing that whatever arises passes away, nothing is permanent. And so in life, if you're able to keep a certain amount of objectivity from success and failure, you can get over them faster, right? Because there will going to be failure, there is going to be success. There's neither too much excitement around success, there's neither too much depression around failure. So you keep good mental health and you don't swing too much with your emotions. So while I know that it is only habitual or only natural to be able to feel joy or feel sadness, but the level of that is something that you control yourself. So that's the other thing. And my years of meditation with Vipassana have kind of centered me around this topic and issue, and really helped me on an ongoing basis. The one last thing that I will tell everybody is that it's important to collaborate, right? Because you won't know everything. So it's important for you to keep an open mind, a hearing mind, to be able to seek help where you need to, and to continuously learn. I went back to college over the last 3 years, did a post-graduation again from Kellogg's on digital transformation, did a certification course in blockchain from Berkeley, only because I wanted to reinvent myself. So nothing is complete. You're a work in progress. Your education is a work in progress. And your yearning for learning will keep you ahead and keep you evolving all the time.
Thanks, Tarun. That's truly, truly inspirational. And I can tell all of you that Tarun embodies all this and more. From going back to what we spoke about, participative ownership, another thing that all of you should know, and it's something that I also learned very, very recently, is about this whole build in public strategy, right, Tarun? And I think, again, for all the young folks here, I'm sure they're brimming with ideas. How is it that they can also truly take it out there and, get participation from their consumers directly for a product that they're building? And, how is it that, where we at Koto are also embodying the build in public?
It's very important to keep your consumer at the center of it. But, at most times we keep the product and the idea at the center of it rather than the consumer. So it's, as you think of product ideas and you're think about them for the consumer, take them to the consumer, even if they're not in the perfect state, right? Even if they are in lo-fi design stage, if they're just an idea stage. But it's very important to keep talking about this to people so that you get enough quality feedback and you're learning as you're going along, rather than building their entire product, then shipping it out and then realizing that it doesn't have the components that would excite your consumer. So build in public is important from a perspective of getting ongoing consumer feedback, of staying agile in your product development process, and to be able to get collective excitement around what you're building, so that by the time you're ready, because so many people have participated in building it, they will be your first ambassadors and they will take you out and they will be extremely excited. And the tokenization and the entire reward mechanism will allow you to be able to build participative ownership even in this build in public process, like we're doing on Anuya, where then people give us feedback on forms, on programs that we want to launch and learn from. We actually reward them through tokens, and that's how we are being collective in what we're doing.
Right. Yeah. And even from a product point of view, right, in terms of the features, like it's really, really interesting to hear from creators and women themselves on what they want to see in the product. And then actually us going back to the drawing board and said, okay, fine, we can present this to you. So that definitely is extremely fulfilling.
Like, you would talk about location and in the new tickets on location, we're making sure that we don't really go deep into location and allow people to choose not to show their location, and we can only seek it from their nearest IP, but nothing more than that.
Right. I want all of the students also to ask you. I'm sure they're waiting to ask you a lot of questions. But one last question, before I hand it over, Tarun, is just from an overall brand and product point of view, what really is the opportunity for women out there? And this is not only for creators, right? It's for all of us women. It's for our mothers, our aunts, our friends. What is it that they can seek, on a platform like us? Of course, I can answer this question as well. But, just in terms of, we've seen so many from a data
point. What they can seek is really, or what they can get is really a voice, right? It's their voice to be heard and to be able to seek support and to be able to collectively build together, right? Build together for monetization, build together to be financially independent, because increasingly your self-esteem is also very linked to your financial capabilities and your financial independence. And we're seeing that more and more on the platform. We're seeing them more and more on, career opportunities, restart opportunities, work from home opportunities. So I think the way, in fact, we built the City Ambassador program, which talks extensively about monetization and coming together and building a large platform so that they can monetize. All of that is excellent.
Right. And just in terms of the genres, Tarun, I think, again, because this is...
Why don't you talk about them?
Yeah, no, I would love to address it. So I think, again, we were not really exposed to, mental health as a topic as we were growing up, right? We were always conditioned to believe that it was something that, was just something that was passing by and you didn't have to worry and you just had to go on, whether it was, during our school years, or it was during college, or it was even during our work years, right? We didn't really know that we were going through something. But mental health today is such a huge, it is such an important topic to be discussed. And that is one of the biggest genres and largest communities on the platform. And I think all the women here, again, sorry to the boys, but all the women here, you must join this community. It truly, you will see the kind of questions that are being shared by women across ages, whether it's women of your age or women who are much, much older, really sharing their experiences, right? And that's where, at least from my point of view, I saw the real power of community building. Nobody knows anybody, everyone's a stranger, but someone is immediately responding to something that you're saying, and relating to it. So mental health is a very, very popular, important genre on the platform. And we have a mental health advocate herself who runs it. Of course, like Tarun said, career and work opportunity for women, working from home, online, remote working is a very, very big genre as well. And then, of course, there's food. All of us love food. We love to explore. We love to, try out different, things. So food as a genre is also increasingly becoming popular. And then there's art, there's entertainment, there's home decor. There are so many different communities that you girls will genuinely enjoy and be interested in joining. I will send the link here shortly. But thank you so much, Tarun. I mean, this was a pleasure. I hope I can do this much, much more and many more times. But thanks to everyone here, and thank you, Tarun, again.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for those enlightening words. So now we have a few questions from the audiences and the startups present in the meeting. They can also ask us questions. Can you please write your question in the chat box if possible?
I can ask the questions if you'd like, Salil.
Ma'am, that's fine if you want. Yeah, ma'am, sure.
Yeah, I'll read it from the chat if you'd like. So it's easier for Tarun then, right?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. Waiting for the questions.
Aditya, do you have any question?
Oh yeah, can I spell it out? Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
First of all, thank you for conducting this session. Thank you, Tarun. Thank you, Anaya. So I'm a founder of Indomain Technologies Private Limited. Been into the Web3 and 4th gen technology sector since last 8 years. The venture we are working on is the Hindomain, wherein we have launched first decentralized TLD by the name of .Bharatiya for every Indian. And the possible collaborations, as you have mentioned, we look forward with Koto, as you have suggested, for the community-driven application, wherein there can be a customized white-labeled domain assigned for peer-to-peer transfer of information and transactions. Moreover, we are in a process of working to create a two-factor authentication-like system for transfer and transaction of funds from one wallet to one another. So just to share this in supplementation of your process. So this is where we are. I'd be happy to connect offline if there can be any ways wherein we can collaborate or expand in this direction. Thank you.
For sure, Aditya. Write to me on LinkedIn and I'll be happy to connect you to my blockchain team. We are looking at many peer-to-peer opportunities because there will be Koto tokens and Koto gains that can be transferred between wallets for different utilities, where users, who have them can share it with ones who don't, who want to buy platform utilities as well as use tokens for other things.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. Thank you, Aditya. There's a question from Varun. Varun asks, is it a good idea to have both online and offline channels of revenue? For example, Lenskart?
So I think, it depends on what you're trying to do. Online and offline in combination for a lot of products does work, but for a lot of products can become extremely cost intensive. Lenskart works because, primarily everybody likes to be able to check their number before they buy their specs. And I think that's an insight that Lenskart realized that they couldn't get around. And so they did an offline and online, which makes more sense for them. But if you look at some products, right, like marketplaces, right, it's not possible to do offline and online because the wide variety that marketplaces provide to you, they'll never be able to do in a real format or in an offline format, right? They will have to go back to creating supermarkets. So people like Amazon who have tried a certain amount of offline in the US have really gone back to staying online, and so that's the big advantage. Amazon has, millions of categories and millions of products. Similarly for us, as we will allow commerce at every single creator and every single brand level, for us to do offline will be almost just impossible. What we can definitely do offline is to get creators to come together, get women communities, city communities to come together and do stuff, do events, do collaborations. But largely, our value gets created in the ease and seamlessness of online transactions.
Right.
Got it. Thank you.
Any more questions? I don't see them on the chat.
Yes, so we have a few questions from our YouTube audience as well.
Oh, great.
So one question goes like, what potential do NFTs have in the startup ecosystem as a whole?
So NFTs are a great way of, one is art, which is very good, but the other way is to be able to recognize the work people do. Like we have verification NFTs, which are built around referral work that women creators do on the platform. So unlike, to give you an example, unlike Twitter or Instagram, who are now selling their verification, the blue ticks, in our world, the NFT is awarded to you on the basis of the referrals you make or the basis of the engagement you create on the platform. And that leads you to verification. And that NFT is not only your own for life, it can't be taken away like, Twitter took away so many people's blue tick currently. It can't be taken away because it came to birth with all the effort that you took. And it also is eventually transferable, and it is a digital asset for you to be able to transfer it or sell it or do anything else with it. And it has embedded value in it, as well as an embedded art value in it. So both ways. So NFTs are a great way of doing stuff around proof of work.
Thank you, sir. So we have another question. So can you please tell us about your journey as an entrepreneur, how you got interested in the Web3 and the blockchain world?
So when I was building a social community platform for women, I realized the fallacies that Web2 had created. They had created oligarchs of data and a certain amount of information that was, really skewing the entire world. And the world needed more opportunities, options for collaborative ownership, which is where I realized that Web3 was the way to go. And then building on a blockchain, tokenizing it, and allowing every stakeholder to be a part of the story.
Thank you so much, sir. So one more question is like, what are some of the most significant challenges facing the Indian startups in the adoption of the Web3 and the blockchain world, and how can we overcome these?
I think the biggest challenge, while the regulatory challenge exists, right? The biggest challenge that exists is simplicity, right? We're trying to do too much with the chain, and thus mass adoption doesn't happen. We have to keep the blockchain use case very simple. It needs to be very consumer friendly, and then build on that for the future. If you try to do everything together at the same time, without any consumer education, it is going to find it hard to be adopted. So keeping it simple, keeping it consumer friendly, keeping it educative in the beginning, and then building on top of it, it will be the way to go, in my view, right? And I think that is the biggest challenge.
Thank you so much, sir. We have one final question. So how can Indian startups effectively navigate the technical complexities of Web3 and blockchain, particularly in the areas of security and scalability?
So I think you've got to pick the right chain. You've got to pick the right kind of smart contracts. You've got to vet and audit your smart contracts. And now use things like layer 2 Polygon, layer 2 Shardium, layer 2 Verenium, which are built on Ethereum, which in itself is very, very scalable. And one of the things I got taught at Berkeley, which I keep telling everybody, is that think of what needs to be done on the chain and what doesn't need to be done on the chain. Because, just because it's blockchain and it's fashionable doesn't mean that every single event needs to happen on the chain. Only things that can add significant value being all done on the chain should be done on the chain.
Thank you so much for the answer, sir. So now I would like to hand over the session to Raima for the closing speech.
After such an enriching session, it is an absolute honor and my pleasant duty to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of the Entrepreneurship Development Cell, St. Xavier's College, Kolkata. With immense appreciation and gratitude, I thank Mr. Katial for being present with us today and for taking out time from his busy schedule to enlighten us with such practical and valuable inputs. We are sure that the learnings from today's discussion will act as a guiding light and hold our audience in good stead for the future. A special mention to our respected principal, Reverend Dr. Dominic Savio SJ, and Vice Principals, Reverend Dr. Joseph Kulandai SJ, Reverend Dr. Peter Arokyam SJ, and Professor Bertrand De Silva for encouraging us to pursue greatness and live up to the great Xaverian reputation. I would also like to thank our faculty advisor, Dr. Arup Kumar Mitra, for his leading supervision and inspiration at every juncture. We sincerely acknowledge our audience for being patient and interactive and for putting forth such compelling questions. Last but not the least, I would extend a deep sense of appreciation for all the support and timely implementation provided by the members of the Entrepreneurship Development Cell. We owe the success of this session to you. Once again, thank you for tuning in with EDC. Have a pleasant day. Now, we have a short presentation on our event sponsors for this session.
Thank you so much, everyone, and see you, folks.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
day. Thank you so much.
All the very best, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Yep. Bye.
Thank you so much.